So good to see you here. If this is the first time you're tuning in, thanks for joining. I have my great friend and colleague, Diana Fragnito. She's a fundraising expert for 10 years. So we're going to talk about some really great tips and trends for fundraising professionals so that you could be sure that you're keeping your fundraising razor sharp and having that deep donor engagement that you need and affecting your bottom line. So when I knew Diana was coming over to hang out with me for the day so that we can talk to all of you, I got a little nostalgic. Diana, do you remember these?
Oh, do I ever remember those? We used to have to clean them.
I know, right? And charge them.
Yeah.
Well, this is where it all started, right? Mobile bidding started here. And 10 years ago, many people were asking the question, why mobile? Well, we're still asking that question. So, Diane, you want to address that for our audience? Why mobile?
And I will say, right, this about 10 years ago was groundbreaking, right? So this was what we called a bid pal. It was an iPod Touch. The auction was fully loaded on that so that when people came into your room and they checked in, they could get handed one of these things, right? So they didn't have to be locked, but they didn't have to be by the silent auction. They could bid anytime, anywhere.
And we set up a wireless environment in like 6 hours. We would set up a whole wireless environment. Cray.
Fast forward 10 years, right? You don't need these devices. Everyone has their own smartphone. Technology has changed dramatically, and I think people expect it on their phone, right? We are a society today that we do so much shopping, looking at social media, checking emails. Everything is done on the smartphone. So why wouldn't your fundraising be on your smartphone? It's just a way for you to maximize people's attention. You can maximize your bidding potential, right?
Keep your auction open longer.
Keep the auction open longer. Get notices that you've been outbid, right? Let's say you're in another part of the room, right? You don't have to get up anymore and go into the auction room to see if you've been, outbid. You can get a text message, so it allows the organization to kind of stay in touch in real time with their guests. And I think the stat is, when people get a text message, within the first minute, 98% of people are checking it, right?
I do.
There's a lot of positives about it. But on my way here today, right, I actually took note of this. I had to take a subway and then a bus to come out to Jersey because I live in Brooklyn. And what I saw was everyone, and myself included, was on their phones. And every time I see that, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a great opportunity for an organization to update their social media, include the link to their event page or to their donation form, because people are on their phones. This is where
we live.
This is where we live. So if you take the adage of, go where your donors are, they're
This is where
definitely
they
on
are.
their phones, right? So I think it's 70% of the country or 72% of the country has a smartphone, and then in metropolitan cities it's even higher, 80 or 85%.
But there's things you can do if they don't, right? You can always have that assisted bidding or kiosk bidding.
Yeah, that's a question that does come up as well, Dawn. I'm glad you brought that up, like at your event. What if someone doesn't have a smartphone? What if, they forgot it at home? That's probably going to be the exception as opposed to the rule, but you can certainly have some iPads set up and
what you're missing there
Yeah.
is far less than what you're missing with a paper bid sheet, right?
Yeah.
With paper, what do you get, about 40 to 50% of item value?
With paper, about 40 to 50%, and what we've seen with mobile and making it electronic, it's definitely higher than that,
If not double.
if not double. And again, it all it's.
And what about going beyond the ballroom, right? When you're having an event with a head count that you need to cap at 300, 350, that's it, you're done. You're looking at a new venue and increased catering costs if you want to try to grow beyond that number. But with mobile,
Right.
It's infinity.
Right. You can now allow, obviously, all that remote bidding, or, we see a lot of organizations do this, right? Like they might have their gala on a Saturday night, let's say, but the bidding, I see them, advertise it on all their social media, and it's open to everyone. So whoever happens to come across it, right? They're not in the ballroom, but they can be bidding and driving up, the bidding, and obviously making more money, for your organization. So I think the fear that some people have about, oh my goodness, making that leap, I think the advantages, in my opinion and in my experience in the 10 years, far outweigh the negative. And at the end of the day, as fundraisers, and in life in general, right? It is about taking that leap of faith, and getting uncomfortable every once in a while and trying something, because that's when you kind of see the growth. And we've seen this happen, I think, time and time again. You mentioned over the 10 years. I've been here 10 years, and 10 years ago, this was such a novelty. And for some people, it still is. But for me, I love seeing our customers who have kind of grown with us, and year after year after year come back, because they realize there's no way I can do an event, at least, without the mobile bidding. And we're talking about one piece of the platform, right? There's also everything else you can do with it, from your event page, ticketing, starting your online auction prior. I love that concept, because the reality is people come to your event, they're talking to other people, they're watching speakers.
4 hours.
They might not have time to walk around and see everything that you have in your auction. So by going online earlier, I always say give your guests some homework to do. Allow them to kind
That's
of
great.
peruse the catalog, so they can at least identify
Or
what they want to
place
bid
their
on.
bids in advance.
And they can also place their bids in advance. So I think you owe it to yourself and to the organization to absolutely consider it. Don't be scared of it. Embrace it. Embrace change. It's here to stay. It's not
Going anywhere. No, that's true. And I have a tip for you.
It's
I
not
do all
going
my
anywhere.
Christmas shopping a lot, with especially great experiences right from home. With all of our customers' events. So you heard it here from Dawn and Diana. We're so glad that you joined us today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment below with whatever questions or other topics you'd like us to address. We're here for a little bit to really address a lot of the questions that we hear every day, that we've heard for the past 10 years. And please subscribe to Fundraising with Dawn Lago. Bye for now. We'll catch you the next time.